hi. What you don't see on the other side of the camera is that Wendy's going 3, 2, and then goes when it's time. So I was like doing that nod with her. So hi, good to have you here. Wendy's behind the camera, Carrie's over here, and both of them are going to be here in these chairs in just a moment. But I want to go ahead and just kick off this broadcast. We're so glad that you're here. For those of you who are live, please chime in. This is a discussion, not a presentation. Be a part of the community and ask your questions, leave your comments, and we will try to address as many of you as possible today. So the topic is all about the photo books that are now available through the Project Life app. This just launched on Tuesday? Wednesday. You don't have to whisper.
I'm sorry, Wednesday. They know I'm here.
So Wednesday. The little girl in my ear just whispered that it's Wednesday. So Wednesday, today is Friday, so only 2 days in, actually less than 2 days technically, and we are really excited about the photo books that are now available as another option. Before I pass the time over to Wendy and Carrie, I'll tell you who they are and why they're going to be kind of doing this Q&A with you guys. But I also want to share a comment or slash question that I just noticed yesterday on Facebook right here from a customer. And I just thought, this is a legitimate concern that I think a lot of people feel, and I want to talk about it as it segues it perfectly into this topic of photo books. For those of you who are new to us and you're really unfamiliar with everything that we're doing and you don't know who is doing this, my name is Becky Higgins, and I created Project Life as a solution-based option for scrapbooking. So the whole premise behind Project Life is to make it simple and easy and not so overwhelming and time-consuming for people. So that's what Project Life is. It's available in physical format, digital for people who want to do it on their computer, like in Photoshop, and then of course we have the Project Life app. So now, new to Project Life app is, as of last year, we were able to print your pages, like order prints, we send them to you, and then as of this week, we now have the full photo books. So more on that in a minute. Now here is the concern, question, comment that was brought up by, oh, her name's not on here. Don't worry about it. So I was going to give her a shout out. So I don't remember her name, but you know who you are if you're watching this, okay? So we'll call her Mary. Mary said, Becky, I see. Is she going to get it?
She's running.
She doesn't need to get it.
And they can see
Mary,
that,
you'll
so.
know who you are, Mary. Jane Doe. All right, this is what she says. Becky, I see that this is the wave of the future, but I love traditional scrapbooking. You were my favorite designer. That sounds past tense. Sandy. Okay. Hey, Sandy. I'm talking to you, Sandy, and a lot of people who feel the same way. You were my favorite designer. I still use most of your basic principles. Is it going to be a thing of the past? I need to make things with my hands. Pictures and family stories are so very important to me. Sandy, right? Sandy. The reason why I wanted to share your comment is because I have a very resounding one-word response to say to you that so many people here will feel, and that is amen. Scrapbooking, memories, photos, all these things are so important to you. They're important to me. And the thing that I keep preaching over and over and over, and I believe it with all of my heart, is that there is no one way to do scrapbooking that is a one-size-fits-all. We here offer Project Life, and we offer it in lots of different formats: physical, digital, app. If you use the app, you can print your pages, or you can print them in photo books, or you can do lots of different things. And so in response to your concern, you're saying, I need to make things with my hands. Sandy, I'm never suggesting that actually you should switch anything that you're doing. And I really want everyone who's watching, if you're scrapbooking, to remember that no one can actually pin you into a certain method or way of scrapbooking. This is your thing. These are your pictures. Your pictures matter more to you than anyone else. So you should treat this hobby and you should approach this memory keeping thing in a way that you feel comfortable with and the way that makes the most sense for you. So in Sandy's case, she loves traditional scrapbooking. She should stick with traditional scrapbooking. If she feels inclined one day that she wants to try the idea of scrapbooking in the palm of her hand, she should try the Project Life app. If she wants to go back to traditional scrapbooking in a very decorative, elaborate, creative sort of sense of way, she should do that, right? And so that's all I wanted to say. I just want everyone to remember that we are never, ever interested in pegging anyone into a certain way of scrapbooking. It's scrapbooking, it's memory keeping. It's just something that we should enjoy and love, and it's a fun and wonderful opportunity to preserve our memories, period, no matter how you do it, all right? So what we're going to do is move into some Q&A. I'm going to kick it off with the elephant in the room, the big question that so many of you have. So we'll start there, and then I'm going to introduce you to Wendy and Carrie, and then we will roll into lots of Q's and A's, right? So if you have questions, make sure that you ask them when it's time. So here's the big, what did I say, the elephant in the room. So when we launched our photo books 2 days ago, there was some sticker shock. Definitely some of you were concerned about how much more expensive it was than you thought it might be. And I felt like it'd probably be a good idea to address that really quick, and then we'll toss it over to some other questions. Are the photo books cheap? Nope, never said they were going to be. This is not a cheap photo service. It is unique, and it's really premium. It's a premium product. Our brand is a premium brand. We're never looking to be the cheap brand. We never have been. So it's actually quite in line with what we've been doing. It does happen to be on the end of the scale of a more expensive or higher price tag product than pretty much anything we've done, because we have the physical products and we have the digital and the app and everything. And when you look at any one item, no one item costs as much as, say, a printed photo book. So at some point, you're going to have the least expensive thing and the most expensive thing in your product line. Well, we just launched something that's probably on the more expensive, not probably, it is the more expensive price tag. So why is it so expensive? Photo books, the general kind of response to that is that you do get what you pay for. And so there are a lot of photo book services, and I'm glad for that. Please let me make that clear. I am so glad that we have options. You have options. I'm not pegging you into any one of those options. I am proud that we can offer an option that makes sense for some people, not necessarily everyone, but some people. And what that option is, it's a photo book that is a high quality, high-end photo book that has the ability for your pages to lay flat, and the quality of the pages is superb, premium. You cannot find nicer pages printed in a photo book. More on that in a bit. So the photo books that we offer with the higher price tag are just that. We don't make a bunch of money on these guys. They are just an expensive product to make. If you want to do your research and look into other photo book companies, by all means, just export your pages and print them there if you'd like to. However, the reason why we offer this through the app is for your ultimate convenience of being able to do it completely through the app, which just is a wonderful tool right in the palm of your hand to be able to do that. And our photo book process of actually making it on the phone is smooth as silk, okay? So that is not only for your convenience, but it's also for quality. It's really hard to find a photo book that's not cheap. There's a lot of cheap ones, a lot of inexpensive, and not meant to last forever and ever. These are going to last a really, really long time, and they are flat lay and they're higher quality. So that's kind of the short version of that. We don't want to spend this broadcast talking about costs because it's not going to change with this particular product. We want you to know that it's an option, and if it makes sense for you for some of your books, no one's going to make 50 photo books next week all in their own in their own process, but it's an option. And we already have orders coming in, and we're thrilled about it. We're excited to tell you more about it and show you more. We have some fun flip-through book videos that we're doing that we're going to share on social media, and it goes on and on. So having said that, now that we have that over and out and moving right on, we are going to introduce you to Wendy and Carrie, but not yet. Because there's something. Is there a question?
Yes.
Yeah.
Just remind them where they can see the prices.
Oh, yeah, thanks. That was like the big thing that I wanted to make sure to mention. Thanks, Wendy, for being the other half of my brain in that
Wendy's so
moment.
smart. Wendy.
So before we even launched the product, the photo books in the app, we put together, and when I say we, I mean it took a village to pull this together. There's a lot of math involved, a lot of picture taking, a lot of explaining, but this very clean, organized, beautiful blog post at BeckyHiggins.com. That's where you can find our blog. And it's toward the top, but it's actually called Photo Books versus Prints.
It's actually still, I believe it's still
In the
the
top?
top one.
Okay, if you go to the blog at BeckyHiggins.com, you'll see it, but if you can't, you can always search Photo Books versus Prints. I think that's what it's called,
Yes.
or Prints versus Photo Books. Yeah. Anyway.
If you put it in there, those
Put it
words
in Photo
there,
Books.
it'll pop up,
Yeah.
Photo Books versus Prints. Let's
Yes.
go with that.
Yeah, so search that, and if you go there, when you go there, if you're wondering what is the price, what are you why is it more expensive, you are going to actually have all of that information laid out. You can't ask, what's the price of the photo books, and me answer, oh, it's this, because it's actually not just this. There's options. There's page count, right? Minimum of 20, maximum of 60. We'll cover that in just a little bit more detail soon. There's different cover options. You can do a photo cover option, or you can do a solid faux leather option. There's different options with sizes. There's 8x8, 10x10, 12x12. So we can't just say the photo books cost this much. It depends on what you're doing. But all of that is laid out in the blog post, right? That's it. All right, so that's all I want to say about that. I really want to turn the time over to Wendy and Carrie. So I'm actually going to go behind the phone, and I'm going to watch for your comments and questions and try to keep up. But I think you guys also have some good things to kick off with, comments and questions that have already been that you guys have already chimed in with on social media. So with that, I'm stepping out. Carrie, come on over. Is this where you were sitting?
Yes.
All right, Carrie, sit down. Carrie is our product manager. And fun fact, she's actually been with us the longest of anyone on the team as of right now. Yeah.
5 years this week.
Yeah.
My work anniversary was on Monday.
Yes, and
5
we do
years.
celebrate work anniversaries. We bring them up. And
Becky didn't even come to work that day. No.
You did it?
You and I went to the office that day.
Oh, I wasn't
No.
there. Oh, sorry.
She wasn't even here to celebrate.
I didn't bring you
it was
that
such
cake.
a big day for me.
5 years with Carrie. Product manager, what does that even mean? She oversees all of the product development. All the stuff that I used to do back in the day is all Carrie. She knows for sure more about any collection or whatever than I do anymore. She really does know it all. And she is excellent at what she does. So physical, digital apps, she oversees she's like the mothership of overseeing those. And we have lots of people working on all of those avenues, but she oversees what's going on. That is Carrie. Ta-da! Okay, Wendy, come on over.
Wendy.
Get on over here, Wendy. A lot of you know Wendy just from a customer service standpoint, because if you have ever had an issue, I'm going to bend down and be awkward because I don't know if my head's being cut off. Wendy is customer service for the Project Life app, and
She's so pretty.
she's so pretty, and she smells really good.
Always.
I do
Always.
smell good. I won't refute that.
All right, so let's
And
dive
she
in.
has the best
Oh, she does.
hair. Hair envy every day.
Well, and there's
It's getting a
Yeah.
little bit older, but it's okay.
odor.
It's
Odor.
old.
Not odor. It doesn't smell bad.
No.
Because she smells good.
Oh, she does.
great.
Always. All right, you guys ready for this?
Yes.
Okay, now do you have some questions that you want to dive into first?
We have some things that we want to talk about, but one thing that I did want to mention in the blog post that Becky just referred to that talks all about the pricing of the photo books.
Hold on,
There-
time out. This is going to look really weird, so I'm just saying it. I have to step out of the room and go get a pen to take notes on their comments. So keep going.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
Okay. All right. The point that I was going to
Ouch.
make was in that blog post, in addition to all the information about the pricing of the photo books, there's also a comparison to how those costs translate to albums and page protectors and prints. So that you can kind of see, based on the project that you're working on and all those types of things, we give you a couple of ideas of what type of a project. Is it an album that you're working on that has a beginning and an end? Is it something that is specific, to a topic or a theme? But it will also tell you how much it would cost. Okay, so if you want an 8x8 photo book, here's the price for the different cover types. But then it's also going to tell you this is how much it would cost if you bought an album and page protectors and the same number of pages, so that you can directly compare what those costs would be and what the advantage or disadvantage might be of a particular method. So I know for me, if it's a book that I'm wanting to add to over the course of time, like a recipe book, I would probably print pages and do page protectors because I can continue to add to it. Mm-hmm. If I wanted to take some of those same recipes and create a beautiful book to give as a gift to a new bride or to a new mother, then I would print that as a photo book.
Kathy is just saying that blog post was awesome in all capitals with the comparison to an album.
Thank you very much.
XO. Hugs and kisses for
Worked
you.
on that for a little bit.
That was a little bit of work. But,
And hi, Miriam. So glad you're in here too.
yeah. So
Okay.
so that was, I just wanted to make sure that they knew in that blog post they could be looking for both of those bits of information.
And since Becky was talking about the prices, we've had only positive feedback this morning. So
That's
that
good.
feels so good.
And you guys, Wendy, how good does positive feedback feel?
It's
for you?
awesome.
It's like a nice scratch
we
on your
just want
back.
everybody to be happy.
Thank you, Cody. Cody liked the post as well. And it is, because in the role of customer service, we know that we're never going to make every customer happy.
Right.
We understand that, and that's okay with us. But thank you. For all of you who have been chiming in with positive feedback, it has meant the world to us. So, okay.
Do you want to start or do you want me to start?
Did we want to talk about the side-by-side view of?
So I just shared that tip. That's what I would do, is just point them to that tip.
Okay.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Is there a different workaround?
No, but we are getting that question a lot now that people are putting their photo books together.
Yeah.
That they can't do the full layout with the 2 pages side by side to see how they're looking in the app. So what you do, and the way that Becky does this, and that we are doing it, is that you create those back to back, and you create them. They will pop up to the far left of your screen, so you will be able to
When
see
you're in the library.
when you're in the library. So
Yeah.
when you're in the library, you'll see those two pages next to each other, and that's a pretty big view. I mean, it's not as big as when you're creating the page, but it's better than putting them into, because I used to tell people you could put them into another template and see them side by side, but this is a better view. So
Yeah. And
in
another
the
thing
folder.
too, I was going to say, and when you are actually creating your photo book, remember you can make changes to that along the way. So when you add your pages, I want to just pull it up for anybody who hasn't gone in and really seen that yet. I'll try and get it as close as I can for you. Hang on. Okay.
And Andrea, you're asking a great question.
Okay.
We'll get to that in a minute.
But so this right here, tell me how close I need to get it
You
to
can
maybe
get closer.
be able to see it.
Keep going closer and I'll focus on it. Okay, go for it.
Okay, so this right here is a photo book in progress. And you can see in the upper left corner is where the blank inside cover is. Then that page just to the right of it
Right here.
is showing what that first page of your book would look like.
Yep.
And then it's showing it laid out side by side,
So
side
this
by side,
left,
how they
right.
would look in a book.
Left, right, left, right.
So you can actually see visually as you're putting your book together what they're going to look like side by side. So that's just another option when you're wanting to view things side by side, is to actually go ahead and start putting a photo book together. It's not going to charge you money to do that. It really will help you get a sense of what all those pages are going to look like when they come together into a book or into an album. And so if you're looking and saying, well, I want to print these into, pages instead of a book, you can still go in, create a photo book, put it together, lay it all out, and
you
see
lose
how it's going
nothing.
to look.
Yeah,
Right.
there's just
Right.
no loss to that.
Right.
I
So-
want you guys to know that Jill is saying this is awesome, and we do hope that that's the point of our broadcast, is to make bring this information forward and help you guys as best we can. So thanks, Jill, for that. Now, do you want one of the questions that are on here, or do you want to
Sure.
go to your next one?
Yeah. Well, I would just,
Yeah, go.
let me just address
Are we
it.
talking about being organized and prepared?
Yes.
Go for it.
Okay. So, in addition to the photo book versus prints blog post that
I'm
we
your
did.
hype girl.
Thank you. We did another blog post a few days before the photo book launched, and it's called Tips for Creating a Photo Book, or your photo book, or tips
Doesn't
for
matter.
whatever.
It's called a
tips.
photo
Yes.
book.
If I could
Please,
suggest
please.
that you take the time to read that blog post. It's kind of like reading Becky's blog post from last year about how she documented the year and why she's doing it that way, or one of those big information-packed blog posts. It will take you a little bit of time. It's not going to be a quick little 5-minute read, but
It could be 10 or 15 at the most.
10 or 15, yes. It's not a 30-minute read.
Grab a Snickers.
Yes, exactly. Give yourself a little snack, maybe a beverage. It'll make you feel good. But if you read that blog post, it is loaded with tips to get you started for creating your photo book. But before you even do that, the one tip that I would give to anybody, whether you're creating a photo book or doing pages or anything, working with the Project Life app,
Please.
and that is to organize. And the best way to organize, for me anyway, is to figure out how I want to name my pages. Because when your pages are all named consistently, based on whatever project you're working on, it's going to make your organizing, whether you're going into folders or whether you're organizing into Dropbox or anything like that, it's going to make the organizing, keeping your pages where you want them, so easy. So for me, when I'm working on a couple different albums, I might have, like, for my Project 52, that's going to be my family yearbook. I always label those, like, 2017, week 01, and I add the 0, so I should say week 01,
I do too.
because when you start adding 11
Right.
or 21, then if you only have a 1, it's going to bump it down in your order. So if you add a 0, 1, that's always going to keep those in numerical order. So that's what I do. 2017, week 01, left, or week 01, right, so that
I'm just reminding Wendy to smile, that's all.
Well, I had a photo tip.
I'm like, do
but
I
it
have a
wasn't that, so.
snatchy look on my face? But if you number them chronologically and then put which side of the page it is, then when you go to put together your photo book or you go to print those, you're always going to know exactly where they go.
And if you're
in
not the
relation to your
most
book.
organized human being like this lady, and which I'm not, when I went to make my photo book, I hadn't named everything the way I wanted, and you'll only do that one time.
Yeah,
because
that's
after that, you don't want to ever do it again.
Yeah.
Because
Well-
you're doing it all at the same time. You're trying to figure it all out. Grab those pages, and then you're gonna. Anyway, it's just easier if you make it part of your process. As you complete a page, name that
it.
sucker.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then drop it into a folder.
Yep,
So,
yep.
and that's the same thing. So if I'm working on a Disneyland book, I'm putting Disney, the date, whatever. However it is that I'm going to keep that, but I always number them 01, 02, 03 so that I know the order that I want them in my book or my album as I'm putting that together. So
Christy is saying that naming the pages was the best tip, and that's we had when we were in beta phase and we were going through all of that. That is what we were realizing is what would make this easier for us. Let's share that with people. And like Wendy said, if you guys just make it part of your workflow, that's good. It's a game changer in how you use the app now that we have folders.
yes, absolutely.
Along with, if you like square corners instead of rounded corners, I get a lot of people wanting a default option to square corners only. We don't have that, so you still have to go up and click that little box. But if you just, the minute you pick your new layout, your new template, that's the first thing you do. Go click that box and make it square corners. Because that was another thing. I went back and I looked and I had a few pages that had rounded still. And I was like, I don't want to print it that way. So anyway.
Hey, you guys, Jacqueline wants to know how you name a page.
Okay.
Let me open my...
Easier to show than to...
and
and Andrea's asking the same question.
we are going to do a tutorial
Yes.
about how to do this.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes.
It's
Okay. So in the library,
Come closer.
here's our library.
Let me push you up.
Hey, Shauna.
Okay, so here's our library.
Okay.
And you can see where it says in the upper right-hand corner, more options.
More options.
Hold on. More options right there.
see that?
Right here. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to tap on that. And then it's going to bring up all my different pages, okay, that are in whatever section. So whether you're in the completed pages or you're in the completed collages or whatever, it'll bring up all of the work that you have there. So then you tap on a page and it gives you all these different options.
Edit.
See all those options?
Yep, and see this one right here? Update page info.
Yep, and so when you tap on that, update page info, see for me, this is Disney 16. So it's already part of my Disney pages because I've already named it because I do that as part of my process because I've learned over time how it is that I want to keep them organized. And so, but if that still just says the date, which is normal, it by default names them by date that they're created. And so then you would just go in and change it to whatever you want. So whether that is, 2017, week 01, left,
And
whatever.
I believe that is also in one of our tutorials, which you can find on Becky Higgins' YouTube channel.
Actually, will you tell them about that playlist? I think some people probably don't
And it's
know.
just, if you navigate, once you get to Becky Higgins' YouTube channel, it'll just say Project Life app. Anything to do with the app will be there, and there's a whole playlist of, and number 4 is backing up your pages, which is a great one.
Yes, if you like my voice, buckle up, sister. 'Cause I've got a whole lot of tutorials there for you.
It is a very
Yes,
soothing voice.
and we are working on more. So there will be tutorials on creating the photo books and working with the folders and things like that. So we have more coming. But
Questions?
organize. That's what I
Yes,
would
please,
from
for
the
the
get-go.
love. Yes, organize.
Okay.
Okay, you want a question?
Sure.
All right, Andrea was wondering, now, are these pages like true squares so that if she does export and want to print through another photo book, that she's not going to lose her edges? And there's a disclaimer to that, and that's why we can only stand by our photo
Right.
books. So why don't you explain on that?
Right.
Or explain.
So yes, the pages that you export from the Project Life app are high resolution and they are square. So if you open them up in Photoshop, you'll be able to see that they're square numbers of pixels. I believe that the 12 by 12s export at 2048 by 2048.
That sounds right.
So it is not a lot of people that are creating digital pages or that are used to that. We've seen them express some concern over the actual like sizing and resolution, but we have confirmed through our own prints and through our developer that the resolution is great for printing, and we haven't seen any problems with the printing. They do export square. Yes. Now, not all other photo book creators, their 12 by 12 page may not actually be 12 by 12 square. And so their crop lines and the margins that they use are going to be different than what ours would be. So,
and that's not just with photo books, but any prints.
Right, with any,
all
and
of them.
so everybody, like every printer's bleed and all that kind of stuff is going to be different. Which is why obviously we can't guarantee that if you print through Blurb or Shutterfly that you're not going to lose things on the corners of your pages and that your borders aren't going to be trimmed down because we don't know what their process is. We have worked exceptionally hard. I can't even begin to express how hard we have worked to get the margins on our photo books just so
Perfect.
You're so pretty. So here's another one. This is, oh, and one other thing that we wanted to talk about. Oh, that, darn it. Sorry, I just really wanted to pull out this book because it's mine, it's my family, and I love it.
Hey, while you're doing that, just really quick shout out to Monica. I'm not quite sure I understand your question.
Oh, no, wait.
So make sure you explain that a little bit further so that we can answer it. Okay, yes, back to Carrie's pretty Disney book. Hey, Carrie, what size is that book that you're showing?
This book here is 12 by 12. And it is, I just love it so, so much. The color is vivid. And you can see, these are not like paper pages. These are like actual photographs, if you can see. So they're flexible, but they're not...
They're sturdy.
Yes, they're hardy.
They're almost like, I mean, not the same finish at all, but they're almost like a cardstock, a thicker cardstock weight.
Yes. But what I was trying to
That's
show,
beautiful.
here we
love
go.
it, Carrie.
Okay, so right here, you can see on the left-hand side.
Lindsay, you do want one, honey. You do, Lindsay Ross.
Lindsay Ross, do you want a copy of my book? I'll sell it to you. No, I'm just kidding. So you can see on the left-hand side, there is a page. It's a page that I created in the Project Life app. And on the right-hand side, I'm looking backwards, is a full photo. The cool thing is you have the option, I don't know if you knew, to add these full photos. Now, please note, they are not full bleed, meaning that the photo does not go all the way to the edge of the pages, because we really loved the look of having the consistent border on each page. So it'll give you that nice full square photo, but it won't be full bleed, meaning going all the way out to the edges.
Carrie, just really quick, Debbie's saying, I assume all your pics were just on your phone.
Yes.
And they came through clear enough for that large of a book?
Yes.
Bingo.
This picture, every picture that is in this book was taken on my iPhone.
Hold it closer, yeah.
While we were at Disneyland.
And it's obviously better in person, but they are crystal clear, guys. And just, Carrie shoots the way I shoot, 100% on our iPhone.
It's just, yeah.
Yep.
And this really makes me want to go to Disneyland right now.
I know, you gotta get out of your Disney brain.
It's been about 2 months since I went.
Thank you, Jacqueline. We are very proud of the quality. We appreciate that.
But what I was going to say about that is, I know there's a lot of people that are storing pages in Dropbox or Google Photos that they want to add to their photo books.
Because we told them to.
Because we told them to.
They
listen to us.
They backed up their stuff.
We like that. Tell them how to do it.
Back up your stuff.
No, not backing up their stuff. How to bring them into their photo book.
Well, if you're going to bring those pages into your photo book from Dropbox or Google Photos or from your email even, you will want to pull those pages in through the collage section, the orange collage section.
This one right here, the pretty
closer.
orange section.
Yeah.
So if you have a page,
template.
you would go tap on the orange section, okay, and then you're gonna. Sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna point it
Okay.
out.
Then you're gonna tap in the upper left corner.
See that? That little grid is basically where you go to pull up
That
all
says
your...
4 templates.
Yeah.
And then on the bottom left,
Very first
it
one.
says 12 by 12. You see that?
It's not focusing, but yeah, they see it. And
Okay.
then let me just show them.
Yep.
Look. And then you just scroll and you got all your options. But that very first one, boom, it's 12 by 12.
So you would just choose 12 by 12 and then tap on it.
Which also applies if you're doing an 8 by 8 book. It's just a full
Right.
square.
Right. And then you would just tap and then you can choose the image that you want. So if that's a page that you have in Dropbox, you would just select Dropbox, navigate to where your page is located and bring it in. The important thing to remember is when you are adding these to a photo book,
Right.
meaning when you're adding anything that has been added through the 12 by 12 collage, whether it's a page or it's a photo, there's one little extra step I'm going to show you because it's actually something that we worked on almost last minute so that we could get these borders just right. Because Devin, our developer, you guys, he's so smart.
He's the man.
He's so smart. Like,
We like him.
I'm smart. Devin is like so smart. But
Where does that leave me and
Yeah.
Wendy?
I know. So again, here we are. We've got our photo book in progress, right? So I'm going to go down and I want to add a page. So I'm going to tap there.
She tapped on a plus. if you
Sorry.
missed it. Yep.
I can go back. Okay.
Okay, right
There's a little
there.
tap.
Yep.
Okay. I'm going to tap that. And then it's going to give me all my different pages that I want to print.
Go down. Yep.
Go
there you
down.
go.
Can
Yep.
you see that? Okay.
Which page would you like to add?
Any page. Just
Yep.
pick one. They're already in that book anyway. So
Oh, you
pick-
want me to pick one?
Yeah, just tap one.
Okay, that one.
What does it say?
It says, this page contains cards from Everyday Edition, which is
Oh.
missing some of
Oh,
the...
oh shoot! Oh shoot! Okay, just kidding. The reason.
That's
That is such a Facebook Live fail. I
know.
can't believe it. I'm so
love
embarrassed.
live.
Okay, never mind.
This is so great.
She's gonna have to re-download that.
Oh my
I know,
gosh.
seriously.
No.
I don't want to interrupt the flow of what you're explaining,
Okay.
but I do have a few more questions. Let me know if you want me to move on to those.
Here we go. This is what we wanted.
Okay, it says, I see you're adding an image created with our collage feature. Super fun. Is it a completed layout or a full page photo?
Okay, now the reason that question is important is because the way that you answer it affects how that image is cropped in your book. Okay, so a completed page looks like this. It means that you created it in the Project Life app or you created it on your computer, but it's actually like a layout design. Okay, the reason that's important is because then when it's added to the book, Devin has worked some voodoo magic to know how to trim that margin so that it matches a margin if you're adding a full photo. They crop them differently, and so that's why the app needs to know, is it a completed page or is it a full photo? So it's not a hard question to answer. You know whether it's a page, but if you're bringing it through the collage, it'll ask you that question. Now, if it's a page that you created in the app and it's just sitting there in your library and you're adding it, it's not going to ask you that question because it already knows the answer. Right. It's only if you're adding things through the collage, like pages that you've stored in Dropbox or full photos. That's the only time it's going to ask you that question. I just wanted to point it out because I don't want people to be concerned.
Tell them what happens if they choose the wrong one.
Yes. Well, if you're adding a page and you choose that you're adding a full photo, it's going to give you a wider border. And I won't get into all the technicalities of it, but basically when you export your page, it has a border on it.
Right.
When you bring it back in and it thinks it's a full photo, it's going to add the page border plus the border on the page that you exported.
So on that note, just really quick, Andrea is saying thanks for answering. The fact that our app pages will actually fit completely on the photo books makes it totally worth the higher cost. That issue has plagued me in the past.
Yes. Well, that's what we got all the time from people that were printing through Shutterfly is, where's my margins are off? And so that's why we spent so much time on that.
So much time
But you need to spend a lot of time when you're making your book because I made the mistake on one of my beta books. One of my pages had a thicker border, and it was because I hit the wrong button. And so you just need to simmer down, take your time, look at everything.
Yeah. And it's so simple. That's the thing. It really is so simple. So, I mean, we don't want people to stress out, but obviously it's a high ticket item. You're spending a lot of money on the book. You want your book to be right. And so that's why in that blog post, tips for creating a photo book, one of the first things we say is double and triple check all of your pages. Make sure you haven't misspelled things. Make sure that you have all square corners if you want square corners or round corners if you want round corners. Make sure that all of your photos are in the position that you want them. Make sure that your journaling is the size that you want it. You know, little things like that if you make that part of your regular workflow, it's not going to be a big deal. But I think all of us, as we were beta testing, felt that added pressure of, okay, I better check just one more time before I upload it because
it's a big deal. I mean, it is a big really, really nice photo book.
It's an investment.
Yep. And that's exactly the way to look at it. It's an investment. So it's worth investing the time to double and triple check the details so that when you get it back, you are like, seriously, like, I got this book back. I kind of wanted to cry a little bit.
Well, and Carrie doesn't cry.
Well,
let's just be honest.
That's a big deal.
I don't. That was a big deal. She was feeling it. Hey, you guys, Alicia says, I wish you guys lived near me so that you could help me do at least my first page. You guys are so great. Do you guys remember the story with my mom being a beta tester?
Yes, and she did it all by herself.
She did not even call with one question. Alicia, if you've never just tapped around, like, I mean, how easy is it for even like you guys with your friends and your family?
It's very intuitive, and when you click on the home screen, the little green section of our logo, you can find where you can get help text. And just for the first couple of times, you should leave the help text on because it'll totally tell you where to go next, how to create that page. And check out our YouTube because we have how to create a page. The basics of creating a page will show you it'll be like we're sitting in your living room, that we live right by you, and we're helping
short and sweet video tutorials, and Carrie does them all so you get to hear her soothing voice.
So
and
soothing.
Jacqueline says, you know what I love? You all have thought through all the details so thoroughly, and you're right, it is so simple. And Lindsay just added, it is so easy. Like, it just is. And I don't know how delayed your comments are coming through, guys, but We're loving your comments.
Yeah,
For real.
we're very we tend to be detail oriented people, and so we know the way that we would want it to work for ourselves to have it make sense. And so I think that we've worked really hard as a team to make it easy, because that's what people want and that's what people need. They need it to be easy. So
Yeah, for sure.
we've given that to you.
I'm going to ask you a question that Catherine is asking,
Okay.
but I want Monica and Cody and Malin or Malin and Kimberly to know that I see your questions. I jotted them down and we're going to get to them. Okay. All
That's a
right.
whole lot of questions.
You guys, we're only going to do a 2-hour
What happened to the?
broadcast.
I'm like, what happened to the 30 minutes?
There was never 30 minutes. We know ourselves better. Catherine says, when adding pages to your photo book, if you screw up the order, is it possible to reorder them, or do you need to start over?
Yes. You tell her.
Well, you need to start over.
No.
No.
I'm like, wait, what?
No,
No, if you're like, if so she's put all of her pages in creating a photo book, but she's like, oh shoot, that's not the order I want.
Okay. Can I show you?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, the short answer
Right.
is yes, you can.
Yes,
Yes,
you
you
can.
can.
You can rearrange them. Okay.
Back
come
to this
closer.
screen, and I'm just glad that I actually
Come
have
on,
this
Carrie.
album already put together. Okay, so here we go.
Okay.
All you're gonna do is tap on the page that you need to move.
See that? Move forward or back or remove the page. Boom.
Yep.
I'm not going to mess up Carrie's book, but that's all you have to do.
Yes, so if you added the wrong page, just all together, you can just delete the page, or you can move it forward. Now, it won't move it forward multiple places, and so you would just keep going, move forward, move
You
forward,
keep
move
tapping
forward, move back, until it's right where you want it. And so that's just because it makes it easy for you to navigate. You don't want to, so as for right now, it's obviously not a drag and drop, but we do give you the option of being able to move those pages and the order that they're in. So, yeah.
Okay, short
Yes,
answer.
sir.
Good job.
I
answer.
thought she was talking about something different.
Someone from Orlando
Like
calling
if you
me.
mess up your page
Oh,
and you
yeah.
order your book,
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
you can't change
Do
it.
you want to touch on that real quick, Wendy?
Yes, we put in the book itself that, or as you're making the book, make sure this is everything. You check your spelling, check everything, because once your order is submitted, we can't change it. Once it's submitted, White House Custom Color are the people who print our books so beautifully, and they have a big production there, and they're in Minnesota, we're in Arizona. You send your book through, we're sleeping at night, and you realize you did something wrong, and you hurry up and send me an email, but I don't see it till the next morning after I see everybody else's that came before yours through the night, and your pages are already printed and shipped, and so it's too late. So just be sure that everything is double checked, triple checked before you order.
and the last thing that you have to do before you actually place your order is do a full flip through of your book. So when you push the little
Right.
button that says place order, it's going to pull it up and say, hey, take a quick flip through your book, and it'll actually take you through every single page so that you can check, make sure that the order is correct. Okay, here's page 1, page 2, page 3. Do a quick double check to make sure that the spelling and things like that are right. And then at the very end, it's going to have you actually check a little box that says, I've looked through this. It looks the way I want it to. Awesome. Because then that's basically saying that, okay, I've taken the time to go through the book. So that
When we were talking about organizing and getting your pages ready to create a photo book, if you're bringing those pages in from Dropbox and you've already created them and there's a typo, then you'll have to recreate that page, because when you're bringing them in through the 12 by 12, they're not editable anymore. You can't edit those pages. So
yeah. Now, if you've done an editable export and you bring that back into the app to add to your photo book, then
Correct.
obviously you can go in and you can edit that. But if you're bringing it in as a flattened page and adding it through the 12 by 12 collage, then you can't edit that.
if you just, if there's someone that you want out of that picture, out of that page, or,
Yeah.
you just have to make a new one.
Okay, you ready for a quick question?
Yes.
Okay, quick answer. Quick question, quick answer. Do you have to have just white as your borders on these pages, whether they're app pages or photo books?
The answer is no.
No. You can do the color, and if you do the color, the border itself is the color.
Will you pull up a page?
Yep.
We don't.
No,
We don't work,
Yep.
I,
Yep.
Hold on. Okay.
Hold up, people.
Yeah, we'll show you an example of a book that has colored backgrounds. I just want to mention it's totally personal preference, and I feel awkward talking behind the camera. I'm just going to say this. So it's super personal preference for you. If you like a colored background, you can choose that. So when you're actually working on a page and you tap on that little grid symbol in the upper left corner that shows you different page layout options, you'll see right there, you can change the corners, round or square, and then the background. Yeah. So
color
it's-
palette.
And the color palette that comes up is going to be whatever card, it's going to coordinate and match exactly with whatever cards you're using on your page, which is awesome.
And if you want to change that, you just click on the color palette and you can change your color palette.
Okay, here we go. Here's a book of our cute Laurie's family, Laurie on our team, that has colored backgrounds. So I don't know if you can see these without
Yes,
white.
some are white.
I'm like, never mind. Here we go. So we've got
There we
yellow here. And this was one of our early beta
That's why
books.
the
So this was
borders
before we had perfected the margins. You can tell. See, these are great, right? But no, they weren't good enough for us. So we worked on them to get them to be even more perfect all the way around.
Hey, while you're doing that, Jenna Lee is saying the best tip, because people were asking about like journaling and catching typos and stuff. She's saying read it out loud. It helps you catch typos
Oh,
that you
that's
might
such a
miss
good point.
otherwise.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Such a good point.
Hey, Sandy, we're talking about the Project Life app. So glad that you are here. Okay, so another
Next
question.
question.
Speaking of journaling,
Yes.
is how are we supposed to know what size font to use? And I don't know. Do you want me to talk about that, or do you want to talk about the suggestion of printing their own sample page, because it's subjective?
It's totally subjective.
It's totally subjective.
I mean,
Depends on how much you're putting on that card. You might have a lot to say, so your font's going to have to be smaller.
Well,
Right.
some people just don't have very good eyesight, and so they're going to want to go with the larger.
And if you're printing 12 by 12 versus 8 by 8, a 9 on an 8 by 8 page is going to look totally different than a 9 on a 12 by 12 page, truthfully.
Yes.
So one tip that I've seen used by many people actually is to take a layout in the app. Typically, I think Design F is a good one because it has a lot of the 3 by 4 cards, and then fill those pockets with journaling cards, and then use the same sentence or whatever. Okay, so you can just copy paste, and then on each card, use a different size. And so on one, you might do like an 8, and then another do a 10, and another do a 12. And then just make sure you label them. So you'd put like your sentence and then put size 8, size 10, size 12, whatever. However you decide to do that. If there's a certain font that you know that you want to use, I would just use that same font on every pocket. If there are different fonts, I would probably do the same font per page just so you can compare it across. And then what I would do is print that page in an 8 by 8 and a 12 by 12. Now, right now we don't offer 10 by 10 prints. I don't know if anybody caught the little tidbit that was in the blog post about photo books versus prints, but at some point in the hopefully not too far down the road future, we are going to offer 10 by 10
what is this you say?
What?
albums and page protectors and prints.
Through the app.
Dun, da, da, da!
Oh, I'm so
I
excited!
know, okay, sorry.
And another
Yes.
tip. So
Aren't you excited too, Wendy?
I'm
She's
super
so
stoked.
excited.
I'm like
Yes.
thinking with my customer
Sorry.
service.
Yes,
Sorry.
but until we offer that size, you're going to have to kind of go between. It looks like this 8 by 8, this 12 by 12, 10 by 10 would be about middle ground.
Okay,
Go.
sorry, Wendy, go.
That's in between.
Customer
10 and
service
12.
It is.
Okay.
Or 8 and 12.
Yeah. Yes, it is. Wait, what?
Okay, so just what Carrie was saying, all the different sizes in your books, when you don't know for sure, always export it 12 by 12.
That's what I do.
Always and forever.
Yeah.
Just
always and
because
forever.
Just safe.
it's high enough, and then if you go down, it's going to look great.
You can
So,
always print smaller
right.
from a bigger file size, but printing larger from a smaller file size
It stretches it. Think of it
is
stretching.
going to
Ew.
compromise the quality.
Ew.
Think about.
That's
Never mind. I'm not even going to say
It
it out
looks
loud.
like less stretchy
No.
skin.
No, it just reminds me. This is a problem that I've run into lately, and that is like with workout pants. If they are lined in white and you stretch them too far, you lose the pattern.
Oh my
like
gosh.
it doesn't look as good.
Or they can see through them, which is not good.
Anyway,
I had that happen.
So think about workout pants when you are thinking about stretching your 8
Oh my
by 8
gosh,
to a
I
12
will
by
never
12.
forget this visual. As
But
we-
for reals, why do people line workout pants with white fabric?
Who does that?
Oh my gosh.
Or
Black
sometimes
people
you
line
get-
it with black.
Yes.
My husband would die if he knew that I was talking about this on camera.
That probably came across the wrong way. We
Yeah.
just-
Don't review that sentence. Anyway,
you said.
we'll talk about it later. Anyway, I got up too early in the morning too early, when too dark, grabbed some pants, put them on, and they were my daughter's.
Oh.
But I didn't realize it till somebody pointed out later in the day that you could totally see my underwear through my pants.
Oh, that is beautiful.
Because they were stretched too far. Anyway,
So
I'm sure you wanted to know that.
think about that when you think about taking a smaller file size and stretching it to a larger print.
Lindsay is dying. Oh my gosh. And Shauna, you guys, I don't know how delayed your comments are, but they're laughing. Okay, I want to tell you, I want to give a little love
Becky really
shout
should
out.
not put us
We love
in
you,
front of the camera.
Laura Johnson and Danielle Mason. We love you both. Thanks
What'd
for
they say?
I love them.
I can't remember anymore what Laura said, but something like super awesome about the app. She's so excited about it with the photo books.
So it
and
wasn't
she's
about
being
me?
super nice. And Danielle just loves Wendy. I'm sorry.
Oh.
Sorry.
Oh,
Somebody needs
is
to
this
give
the
some
Danielle Mason that does my
Yes,
hair?
That would be the Danielle.
Oh.
Okay, quick question.
Doesn't
You
it
ready?
look great, Danielle? Like, always.
Okay,
Okay,
this
yes.
is a quick
Question.
answer. Wendy,
Yes.
is it possible to have this app on my iPad?
It is.
Lynn is wondering.
It is totally possible. And if you're on the same Apple ID as you are on your iPhone, you can sync those purchases. So you'll have to go down to the kit. At the very bottom, it says restore previous purchases. You tap on that, and they will magically, hopefully, download.
Yes. Now, when we do say sync, that doesn't mean that your pages will sync across.
No.
So if you create a page on your phone, it's not automatically going to show up on the library on your iPad or your tablet. I know. It's unfortunate. And we would love to make that happen one day. Apple doesn't always like to let that happen sometimes, but that's why we created the editable export, because like I said, our developer Devin is a super smart guy, and he wanted to give people an option to be able to work with those files between devices. So if you're one who is like, you're creating your pages on your phone because all your pictures are there, or that's what you have when you're in the carpool line or whatever, but you really want to be able to finish those up on a tablet because it's bigger and you can see better and it's easier to do your journaling or whatever, all you have to do is, what I like to do anyway, is airdrop those pages. And I'm specifically talking between Apple devices. And so all you have to do there is just choose it. And when you go to export it, when it gives you the options, just choose airdrop. Make sure that your tablet is on. So if you're on your phone, just tap an airdrop and it'll just boom, and
But
it'll show up right there.
You can transfer pages between Android devices as
Yes.
well. Video number 4 shows you
Yeah.
all of that. It's
Yeah.
a great video.
Yeah, thanks.
You should watch it.
You should
You should
totally
watch
watch
it.
it.
Yes.
Hey, Jacqueline is always and forever going to associate stretched photos with stretched workout hands, just so
Okay.
you know.
Excellent. I hope, Jacqueline, if you use that analogy in the future, that you will credit that.
Okay, question for you.
The guy walking by, outside of our window,
Yeah.
totally knows that something is going down right here, and he just turned around and looked at us and just chuckled, because you could tell that he's like going, I don't know what's going on in there,
what he's
but
doing at his desk. He's watching our Facebook
for
Live
real.
broadcast.
Yes.
For sure.
We know that the guy at State Farm is totally watching our broadcast.
Why not?
Okay, so another question, and we probably should wrap up with the last couple, 2 or 3
Okay, I'm
questions.
just looking to see if there's anything that we
really
haven't
quick
covered.
question.
Oh,
Now,
gosh.
Malene or Malin, I'm going to say Malene, she lives in Sweden, and she's wondering, she knows it's not available for international yet, but do you want to just remind her about what we shared or asked yesterday?
Wendy
Yes.
would love to.
We are looking for a print partner. We're actively looking for ways that you guys can get your pages shipped to you less expensively.
And photo books.
And
It's
photo
both,
books for in the future. But right now you can get your pages shipped to you internationally. We know that it can be costly, so that's why we're reaching out. We're asking you if you know of someone in your local area that prints well, does 12 by 12s, 8 by 8s. We want to know about them.
In a
because-
country outside of the United States.
Right, correct.
Yeah. Any country, just tell us where
'Cause
you
we've
live
got-
and tell us
Yeah.
what print company you think is reputable and has great quality and customer service.
Because we don't want to charge you a ton to
Right.
ship them. We want you to be happy.
Yes.
That is
Always
Wendy's
and
question.
forever.
Know that.
Always and forever.
You know what? Kimberly is wondering, do we think that we'll ever do the 6 by 8 photo book size? I mean, we've launched with 12 by 12, 10 by 10, 8 by 8, and we do have the 6 by 8 page template. So,
Yep.
I mean,
We never say never.
I was just
Yeah.
going to say, we are definitely a never say never kind of company. So
Yep.
clearly, we like to listen to what our customers have to say.
Right.
So if we hear that there's a great demand for a 6 by 8 photo book, then clearly that's an option that we would want to look into. Is that a promise that it will happen? No, because we don't know that at this point. But we obviously, we like to hear from our customers in what it is that they want to see from us. And from the product development standpoint, we get a lot of great ideas just from reading comments on social media or things like that, because we really do. We read the comments, we listen to what you have to say. Obviously, not everything is going to make business sense or financial sense. And there's a lot of things involved in product development that people outside of what we do don't necessarily understand.
And we have a relatively small team. Like
Yes.
we're all working as hard as we can.
But we love to make dreams come true.
Yes, we do.
That's
Yes, we do. I have one last question that I've taken note of here in this Facebook Live conversation, and then anything else you need to make sure that you touch on before we leave.
Okay.
So Monica is wondering, so she's adding her pages into her folders and one at a time, and she's wondering if you can drag multiple pages in a folder at a time, which you can't, but do you want to expand on that at all? Or?
Well, as of right now, you can't batch export. You can't do anything in batch right now in the app. We don't know if that will change in the future. We know that a lot of you want that changed, but right now everything is one at a time. And that's why the process and the way that you build your pages and name your pages and pick your square corners, get your process down to what you like and make it a habit. And it won't seem so monotonous and tedious. You know I get people saying, I don't want to have to tap square corners every single time. You have to for right now. So if you just make it part of your routine, you won't even realize you're doing it.
And I think it's the same thing with folders. When you create a page, is it going into a folder that you already have created, or have you started working on a new album? So I would say as soon as you start working on a project, whether that is a vacation album or a holiday album or a new family yearbook, just start a folder right then. So as soon as page 1 comes off the presses in the app, boom, it goes right into your folder. And so then just every time you're naming your page when you finish it so that it's got a nice organized name, and then it goes right into a folder. Now remember, when you're adding pages to folders, you are not moving them from the completed pages into a folder, because the folders are basically just a holding place to help you organize the pages that you have completed. So if you start deleting completed pages from that top row in your library, they will not be in your folder. So just
the app is not making a copy of those pages.
No, it is not.
It's just pulling it in, it's organizing it. Once you delete your completed page, it's also not in your folder anymore. It's gone.
Yeah, and I've actually seen some people say, well, I wish it would just move it to the folder. But then I've also heard people say, can I add the same page to multiple folders? Because I'm working on an album for each one of my kids, and sometimes I want to use the same page in each one of their books. And that's exactly why it doesn't move it, because it allows you to organize it in multiple places while still using the exact same file instead of having to recreate it 4 times so that you can move it into multiple folders. You can say, hey, this page pertains to this album, but it also pertains to this album. You can add it in multiple places without having to create multiple copies of it. So, so for me, I just don't even worry about like the completed pages across the top. I just am worrying about what's in my folders in terms of accessing my information in my pages, because that's really what I'm working off of, because those are the projects that are in progress versus, you know, keeping track. Because when you've got 150, 200 pages all along that completed pages, it's going to be hard to find the one that you want. But if you start now and organize them into folders, then you can say, oh, that's in this album over here. And it's going to be a lot easier to find it, especially if it has a file name that has a page number.
Right, that's what I was going to say. Name your pages, and then when you go, we don't have a tutorial yet for the folders, and I get a lot of questions about how to add them. You just scroll down below your completed pages and collages, tap add a folder. It'll ask you to name your page or name your folder, and you name the folder, and then you start just picking your pages that you want in that folder. Then later, if you want to rename that folder, you just tap and hold on the folder, and it'll pop up and ask you, would you like to rename or delete? And that's how you rename or delete the folders.
Hey, something super relevant. Sorry.
No.
Wait, did you
No.
want to? Okay. Leslie's saying, do people delete after they print their album and they've backed up all pages to Dropbox? I'm paranoid to delete. I'll pop in really quick. Just to, I'm going to explain just my workflow on this.
You?
Yeah, because I like to make sure the space is here. So my workflow is when I create a page, every time I create a page, I know that the app's keeping it, but I never can trust technology. None of us should, right? Completely, because it's technology. And so I know the app's keeping it, but what I also do is I export, always 12 by 12, no matter what, and I save it in an iCloud folder, which I have shared only with my parents and my husband. It's really just, you know, it's there for me, but I know that my parents and my husband might be the only people that really care about every one of these pages as they happen, maybe. And then I also, right there from the app, I don't have to go through all these extra steps just from the app, I also save a copy of that page directly into Dropbox. into a folder that I've created for that particular album. I have in Dropbox, I have the same folders that I have in the app, which are the recipe book. Are we snuggling? Yeah. Oh. Which are recipe book, my family yearbook, something for Porter, something for Claire. So that's my workflow. And now my legs are on fire.
Yeah.
Squats done.
Anything else you want to say about that?
I just had something in my brain.
Oh,
Wait, give me a second. It hurts.
Yeah. Jenica's saying
Oh,
that.
I'm saying
Yeah.
that's a great way. If you're having space issues, as soon as you've printed those pages and you know that they are backed up, like Becky just talked about, delete them.
Okay.
Get rid of them. Clean up your app because that will give you more. If you want to.
If you have space issues, because I actually leave all of mine. I leave them in the app.
One other little tip. When you are exporting, whether it's to an iCloud shared photo stream or you're exporting to Dropbox or whatever, I would recommend that you, as you're exporting it, give it the same file name that you give it in the app. So if I'm doing my Disney pages and I'm doing Disney 16, when I save it in iCloud, because I do the same thing, when I export pages and I have different iCloud shared folders that I only share with myself, because I'm selfish that way, that I keep all of mine in. So I have like a, Project 52, 2016. I have a Disneyland trip. And then give them the same name in those folders, whether it's Dropbox or iCloud, that I give them in the app. The last thing I was going to say when you were talking about, it's lunchtime.
When you said that you can sit over here, I'm like right here.
We're so snuggly. Now I'm like, when she was talking about folders, and if you want to change the name or delete, if you delete a folder, remember, it's the same thing. It's not deleting the pages that are in the folder. It's just deleting the folder. The pages, as long as they're in your completed pages, which they have to be if they're inside a folder, deleting the folder does not remove the pages. It just removes the folder.
So if for some reason your folder's not there, because there was a problem with that before the update, sometimes some people had a problem with their folders not loading again. They weren't gone. They didn't disappear, but they looked disappeared because they wouldn't load. But all those pages were still in your completed pages. And if they were named, super easy to put them right back in a folder.
Yeah.
So
Hey girls,
Yes.
I'm going to tell you something that will shock you.
No.
Will blow your mind.
No.
We've been doing this for an hour.
Stop it right now! Oh shoot, you were supposed to leave 7 minutes ago.
And I have a flight to catch. I know. Okay, so this is what we're going to do.
Okay.
I'm so sad. This actually tells me that we need to do more Q&A with Carrie and Wendy. That's what this tells me.
Because we're kind
This
of
is what
party.
we need
have
to
our
do.
own show.
We should. Just saying. Here's the deal.
The app hour.
Oh
the
my
Project
gosh.
Life app
Oh,
hour.
that's cute. Should
I
we
know.
do that?
I'm so good.
We should do that. Okay, so while we think about maybe doing that, we need to be done and we need to tell them about the giveaway.
Oh. Yeah. We're like,
Yeah.
okay, wait.
Okay, what is going on? What is this
Okay,
giveaway?
you tell them all about the giveaway.
So for people who ordered a book this first week after we've unveiled the whole photo book situation, amazingness,
Feature. It's called a feature, not a situation.
anybody that ordered one goes into a drawing and you'll receive a recipe book that Becky has created with her beautiful recipe pages that are so sought after. Like people all over the interweb are talking about these recipe pages.
Yes. And one other thing that I did want to point out. Yeah, so we're going to be giving away 3 copies of Becky's recipe book. Each recipe book is a little bit different because I created one in the Android app when we were testing that, and Becky created ones through the iOS app, so we may have added different recipes, so who knows what you're getting. But we have had a lot of people also asking if I want a copy of the book, I want a copy of the book. Can I tell you a secret?
Tell me a secret.
Most of her recipe pages are actually available on our Pinterest page. So you can actually go to Pinterest, look up Becky Higgins LLC, find the Pinterest, what do they call it? Fold a board. They call it a board. I'm sorry.
Where's Lindsay?
I know. Lindsay. Go to the recipes board. It's towards the top-ish. Tap on that, and then you'll see all the different pages. When you click on the page, it'll actually open it. You can download it. It's going to download it at full resolution. And you, my friend, could save those and create your own photo book of Becky's recipes. But you can pick if you're not one of the lucky winners.
Your picture on the front.
Yes, and pretend like it's yours. And no one will
All
know
of my
it.
recipes.
Let me just show them. Where's the other one?
Which other one?
The other recipe book. Okay, this one. Okay.
That's the only one that's in
Okay,
here.
let me just show you one little detail. Okay, just so you know. See this right here? That text was added in the app. Like that's not something that, I mean, obviously we took the picture, but that text, just so you know, when you upload an image, a photo, yeah, you can
just saw
add
one of
your
the
copy. You can add copy to the book or not. Like this one does not have it, but Laurie added it to the spine. You see that? And then this one, this one, I actually just wrote that out on a piece of cardstock, scanned it, and made that my cover.
Yeah.
And then added the text in the app that says the first 20 years. Is that even in focus? Okay, you get it?
Yeah.
Okay, we have to, what was your thing?
No, I'll skip it. It's in the blog post. The thing I was going to tell you about the
Which blog
titles.
post, Carrie? Where should they go?
The one that, well, there are two. I'm going to refer you to two blog posts. The first one,
Found at
BeckyHiggins.com
Talk faster.
/ whatever. But one is tips for creating a photo book, and that's going to give you all the details to prepare yourself to actually start your photo book in the Project Life app. The second one is called Photo Books versus Prints, and that's going to give you a side-by-side cost comparison of what it would cost you to print a photo book through us, through the Project Life app, or to create an album using an album, page protectors, and prints that would also come through the Project Life app. So we're all about giving you options,
Read them, guys.
and we're also all about giving you information. We like to be transparent in terms of what things are going to
And
cost
sometimes
you.
too much information.
Well, you know, some of that we keep here in the office.
Something about workout pants.
Something about stretchy workout pants.
Oh gosh.
Okay, you guys.
Yeah.
And we're so grateful for everyone that showed up in this live broadcast. Oh my gosh. This is definitely a good time to end.
Now
For
we're
real,
getting.
we are thankful. If you were here live, thanks for being here. And like, just to make my girls blush, they are the bomb.com. Carrie and Wendy,
We are.
they are a huge
She
part
only says
of
that when we're on air, you guys. So like, we just want to stay on air a little bit longer.
Clearly,
Just
you don't
kidding.
want me to gush over you. They make the app totally possible, and we are thankful to them as well. This is basically just a big love fest. So thanks, you guys, for being here. Thanks, Carrie and Wendy. Okay, we'll see you next time, guys. Bye-bye.
Peace out.